In this episode of the Rich Roll podcast, Rich Roll interviews Steven Bartlett, the CEO of Social Chain and host of the Diary of a CEO podcast. The conversation revolves around the idea of obsession and the mindset behind Bartlett's successful podcast. The interview begins with Roll asking Bartlett about his habit of asking people how they are feeling at the beginning of his interviews. Bartlett explains that he asks this question when he believes the person sitting in front of him might have an honest and important answer. He believes that understanding how someone is feeling in the moment drives the rest of the conversation. Roll then brings up Bartlett's recent vlog, where he showcases his incredible endurance and ability to maintain focus throughout a busy day. Bartlett admits that he has overextended himself and that his ambition may be exceeding his capacity. He acknowledges the importance of consistency and sustainability rather than intensity in order to avoid letting people down and maintain his own well-being. The conversation then shifts to the topic of discipline, which is a key theme in Bartlett's new book. Bartlett explains that he started out writing about time management techniques but realized that none of them fundamentally work because they lack the skill of discipline. He introduces an equation for discipline, which includes the why of the goal, the psychological enjoyment of pursuing the goal, and the psychological friction associated with the goal. Bartlett emphasizes the importance of understanding why a goal matters and making the pursuit of that goal enjoyable in order to maintain discipline. Roll and Bartlett discussed the struggle of protecting one's time and setting boundaries. They both admit to saying yes to too many things and the challenge of balancing personal goals with the desire to please others. Bartlett suggests using the frame of how one would feel if they had to do something tomorrow in order to make decisions that align with their values and intentions. The conversation then delves into the discomfort around doing nothing and the obsession with constantly being busy. Bartlett questions why people find it difficult to relax and do something else, and why he himself is obsessed with work. He reflects on his own experiences and the pressure to constantly achieve and be successful. Bartlett acknowledges that he still struggles with finding balance and prioritizing his time effectively. Roll and Bartlett discussed the importance of self-belief and the impact it has on one's ability to make decisions and take risks. Bartlett shares his own experiences of conducting experiments at a young age and learning from failure. He emphasizes the power of self-belief and the upward spiral it creates when combined with optimism and a growth mindset. The conversation then touches on the role of shame in motivating oneself and the dangers of comparing oneself to others. Bartlett admits that he still plays status games, but has shifted his focus from material possessions to social metrics. He acknowledges the impact of cancel culture and rejection on one's sense of self and the importance of managing these feelings by closing down one's context and avoiding negative comments. Bartlett discusses the power of vulnerability and how it has transformed his life. He talks about how he used to believe that his body was against him, but he has since realized that his body is on his side and is doing everything it can to keep him alive. He also discusses the role of status games and how they are deeply ingrained in human nature. The conversation then shifts to the topic of self-compassion and empathy. Bartlett reflects on his childhood and expresses gratitude for the discipline and hard work instilled in him by his mother. He also discusses his relationship with his mother and the challenges they have faced in understanding each other. The interview delves into the concept of leadership and how Bartlett is redefining what it means to be a CEO. He emphasizes the importance of vulnerability, openness, and authenticity in leadership. He shares his experience of running the Diary of a CEO podcast, where he openly discusses his struggles and insecurities. Bartlett believes that vulnerability is a magnet for connection and that sharing his struggles has had a profound impact on his life and the lives of others. The conversation then turns to the topic of discipline and work-life balance. Bartlett admits that he struggles with taking time off and finds it difficult to relax. He discusses the fear and control issues that underlie his obsession with work and achievement. Rich Roll encourages him to consider the importance of rest and self-care in achieving true happiness and fulfillment. Bartlett reflects on the idea of being enough and how it has shaped his perspective on success and ambition. He shares how he used to believe that his worth was tied to his accomplishments, but he has since realized that he is already enough and that his internal worth is not determined by external achievements. The interview continues with a discussion on the importance of finding meaning and purpose in life. Bartlett shares how the Diary of a CEO podcast has become a vehicle for him to make a positive impact on others. He believes that true happiness comes from doing work that is in service of others and that brings meaning and fulfillment. Bartlett continues by discussing the correlation he has noticed between spirituality and success in his podcast guests. He mentions that many of his guests who have been through Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, have spoken passionately about the importance of faith in their lives. Bartlett himself believes in the existence of forces beyond our intellectual understanding and emphasizes the significance of surrendering to something greater than oneself. Rich Roll agrees with Bartlett's observations and explains that the 12-step program of AA is rooted in ancient spiritual traditions. He highlights the importance of surrendering one's life and will to a higher power and suggests that Bartlett's strong sense of self and intuition are connected to this idea. Bartlett expresses his belief in the power of personal experiences and self-belief. He explains that he needs to see and feel the transformative effects of practices like meditation in order to fully embrace them. He also acknowledges that his skepticism may be influenced by his upbringing, where he witnessed his mother believing in things without evidence. The conversation then shifts to the topic of risk and fear. Bartlett shares his fear of the negative aspects of fame and the potential impact it could have on his personal life. He mentions that he is cautious about exposing his girlfriend to the public eye and fears that it may ruin the special part of their relationship. Roll offers reassurance, stating that as long as Bartlett continues to create content with the intention of raising the vibration of consciousness and doing good in the world, he can rest easy knowing that he is making a positive impact. The discussion then turns to Bartlett's new book, Diary of a CEO. Bartlett explains that the book is not just for business people but for anyone seeking personal growth and understanding. He describes it as a social psychology book that delves into topics such as self-improvement, happiness, relationships, and communication. Roll praises the book for its timeless wisdom and its ability to grab and hold the reader's attention. He highlights the importance of knowledge as an investment of energy and the value of progress over results. He also mentions the marketing strategies discussed in the book, such as creating friction between the customer and the product, and how they can be applied to podcasting. Bartlett expresses his gratitude for the positive feedback on his book and emphasizes the fulfillment he derives from writing it. He acknowledges that writing a book may not make as much money or reach as many people as a podcast, but it offers depth, meaning, and a sense of permanence. Bartlett continues by discussing his background and how he started his own social media marketing agency at a young age. He shares the challenges he faced and the lessons he learned along the way, emphasizing the importance of perseverance and a growth mindset. He also talks about the impact of social media on society and the need for individuals to take responsibility for their own mental health and well-being. The conversation then shifts to Bartlett's podcast, Diary of a CEO, and his approach to interviewing guests. He explains that he is more interested in having meaningful conversations with relatively unknown individuals who have compelling stories, rather than focusing on big-name guests. He believes that these types of guests can have a profound impact on listeners and inspire them to make positive changes in their own lives. Bartlett also discusses his admiration for Elon Musk and his innovative thinking. However, he expresses his concerns about some of Musk's recent behavior, particularly his use of social media and his alignment with right-wing ideologies. He speculates that Musk may be using these tactics as a way to protect himself from criticism and attacks. The conversation then turns to the topic of empathy and compassion. Bartlett acknowledges that he struggles with applying these qualities in his personal relationships, particularly when trying to help someone who is exhibiting self-destructive behaviors. He recognizes the need to approach these situations with empathy and support, rather than trying to fix the person or their problems. Rich Roll and Bartlett also discussed the importance of presence and non-judgment in conversations. They both agree that it is essential to create a safe and non-judgmental space for guests to open up and share their stories. They emphasize the value of listening and being fully present in the moment, rather than trying to steer the conversation or offer solutions. Towards the end of the podcast, Bartlett expresses his admiration for Rich Roll and his integrity and values. He appreciates Roll's ability to show up authentically and thoughtfully in public life, and he believes that Roll is a powerful role model for a new generation of entrepreneurs and influencers. Bartlett also expresses gratitude for the opportunity to be on Roll's podcast and to spend time with him at a Manchester United game. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.